All right, and we are back for another reaction. And today we are continuing Re Zero. Last episode, we got we finally got Beatrice back into the action. I mean it was kind of a cliffhanger. Beatrice ran into her, and she kind of left us on some ominous words. Something along the lines of like, "Isn't it ironic that you're the one that?" Because it's been like I think like a week or two since I saw that episode. It was something along the lines of, "Isn't it ironic that you're the only one who can save me?" Or something like that. It's very much putting a lot of pressure or like a lot of significance on Subaru's following actions, which is par for the course for the series. I mean, Subaru kind of dictates everything that goes on around him one way or another. Whether or not it's always a good thing or a bad thing, it's really up to opinion. In my opinion, it's kinda like 50-50. Like, a lot of the times, like, the good portions of what he does, it's like, yeah, I guess everything turned out alright, but I really don't like the reasons for, like, what he did and all that kinda stuff. But, that's just me. I love hating Subaru. Like, I mean, I think he's, like, a super interesting character. I think he's a super shitty character, like, toxic personality-wise, but I still love the dude, man. He's so fun to watch. It's so f fun to watch him just sorta, like, devolve into himself. But, yeah, Beatrice. I'm gonna be paying a lot of attention in this episode to Beatrice's words, her mannerisms, all this kind of stuff, because I hated, absolutely hated what they did with her character the last time that we saw her before this cliffhanger. When she just buckled down to the floor, crying and like whimpering and all this kind of stuff. She was all skittish and she didn't want to help Subaru and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, where did this come from? This was such a betrayal of her character. Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna come up with some reason for her doing that, but did you really have to make her that into that much of a sad sack like out of nowhere? Because like Beatrice has always been like the a super strong character, a super like she has her convictions. She has gone against like Roswald, before, just because she had made a promise to Subaru, so we know she's like a person of her word and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like she does what she feels she needs to do, what she feels is right, or what has to be done. And that's always been her personality, whether she puts herself in danger or whether she has to like, you know, put someone else in danger, all that kind of stuff. She does what she needs to do. And it was just like whiplash. It was just out of nowhere that she like fell to her feet and was like, I can't do anything. Like I can't do it. It's like I'm not saying she has to be a perfect character. I love my characters flawed, but that was just like out of nowhere. I felt like they could have done it in a better way where like she stayed on her feet and still didn't help Subaru. Just kind of like looked at him with like a little bit of remorse, like a little bit of like disappointment in herself. Like shit, like I can't believe this is what I become. Not like falling to the floor, essentially like begging for Subaru to save her and all that kind of stuff. And it's just that was just not who we have known her to be this entire series. She was like one of the few strong female characters who remained strong throughout this series. Rem dumbed down, Cruch literally dumbed down, like her memory was wiped, and it's just like every character, every female character that, and don't even get me started on Amelia. Every female character that Subaru has come in contact with, they sort of like become worse, right? Except for Anastasia, I will remain it. Beatrice, number one favorite character, which is why I'm going to be paying a lot of attention. I really hope they don't like destroy her character like they did Ram and the others. Beatrice, Anastasia, Julius, and then, the rest. But, like, yeah, dude, uh, I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do. I'm expecting it to be a sorta Ice King situation from, Adventure Time. I've never seen Adventure Time, but everyone knows that story because it was, like, such a popular thing when it when it came out with him and, Vampire Girl. Um, I'm expecting it to be something like that with, Beatrice and Beetlejuice just because she seemed, like, super sad when Beetlejuice died. So I'm expecting maybe, like, Beetlejuice was the Ice King and, Beatrice was a Vampire Girl in the situation, which, yeah, maybe that's not like the best thing they could have done with it, like if they do that. But I still, hey, I don't care if it's been done before. I don't care. It's been like kind of like it's kind of being done a lot after Adventure Time. But as long as it's executed well, as long as it stays true to the characters, that's that's all I want, man. Like that's all I want. But without further ado, let us see if Anastasia will be the last good female character in this show. All right, this is gonna be ReZero season 2, episode 10, I believe. If not, I'll correct it later on. Let's go. The Taste of Death. Which yeah, I mean, Beatrice has mentioned in the past a couple of times that she is kind of sick of death. She doesn't want to see it in front of her anymore, which again betrayed her character because she just watched Subaru die, and she has told us with so much weight to her words that she detests seeing people die in front of her, that she doesn't want to see it anymore. But yet there she was, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, is that like some kind of oracle thing? Quit clinging to that body. Relax, girl. I know you want attention. Dude, huskies are such drama queens. Relax, girl. We'll go for another walk later. Many years now. Okay. So I'm still a little confused as to what Beatrice's gospel is. Maybe it's some sort of like future sight ability. A library of knowledge. Maybe knowledge of both the past and future. Mm-hmm. She's yeah, I mean, maybe she doesn't necessarily want to die, or like it could just be that she's exhausted of living if she's lived long enough, right? And I know that sounds kind of the same, but it's like a fine line, right? What do you know about me? Not much. But still, I kind of felt like they had like a good, rapport as like friends who like butt heads and stuff, even though they don't know too much about each other. But then why did you let Elsa kill him? If this guy is in your head, in your own headcanon, if this guy is the closest thing you have so far to someone who might be that person, why? You just let him die. See, even Bella's like, I'm done with this. Oh, man. Make me first. I'm hoping that I missed something and that she's not like gonna do. Are you gonna let Elsa kill him again? I knew it. I called it. Dude, I noticed that immediately that time that we came. the first time we came back to the mansion, I was like, why are all the doors open? Like, oh crap, is someone hunting? Sometimes I do pay attention. At least when I care about some of the characters, Was that necessary? Wait, who's that? Oh, hey! Okay. Hey, that's pretty cool. I was under the impression that all of the that all of the village children were just useless characters. And I still consider Petra a useless character just because she hasn't become useful at all. But hey, now she's proven to be more useful than Petra to the plot. Sorry, she has a rash. We got her medication for it, but it's just like, I feel so bad, man. She well, now I'm completely lost because she was talking like the only possible way for her to die was for the chosen one to kill her. She kind of made it seem like if she could kill herself, she would have, but she can't because only the chosen one can. And now you're telling me that just a little knife can kill her? What? What am I missing here? And if she thought Subaru was the chosen one that could kill her, then why did she let Subaru die in the timeline we saw her last? This is not adding up at all. Well, I mean, she's right about that. Subaru, I mean, Emilia has literally no character, and the fact that Subaru immediately became obsessed kind of told me that maybe he doesn't have character at all, which we know that's wrong because like Subaru is a deeply flawed, he has like hella layers to him. But maybe there's a reason he just kind of like became automatically obsessed with Emilia. I just kind of thought that was like, you know, an anime trope that we could ignore. Like whenever anyone gets isekai, they usually get like first girl syndrome. And I thought that's what this was doing, but maybe she cast some kind of spell on him to make him fall in love with her? That would actually be really cool. That would actually be really cool. That would actually be really good, because that would recontextualize everything. That would mean that, like, Amelia's character was very intentionally left as a bland, uninteresting slob in season 1 because we were supposed to be like, wait, why is Subaru in love with her or something like that, like, only to later find out that the reason he was in love with her was because she used magic to force him to be in love with her. Again, I still don't know what's going on. I'm kind of just trying to like figure out what happened after Beatrice hit him with that magic. Someone pushed her to the point that she had no choice but to rely on me. So you guys know when how like every couple episodes I complain about how sometimes the author just gets into his edgelord otaku mode, and then like the tone hits you like whiplash and it makes everything lopsided. I don't know how many more examples of lopsidedness edgelord shit we can see. Oh, dude. This, I can very, very, very easily tell this scene the author had in mind from before he even started writing the series. I can tell that he had the ending in mind, the beginning in mind, and a couple of scenes sprinkled in that he's like, oh, I really want to write this, but how do I get there? Because this, while not totally coming out of nowhere, the tone is, and the fact that it's all coming like all of a sudden, yeah, I can tell he had the scene in mind, very early. She's like, "Oh, this is gonna be such a twist. What a twist."
そう何度もだよ
Wait, I'm not
スバル
gonna. Which again, I have because people say when I point, I feel like people think that when I
よし
point out
分か
flaws
ってい
and
ない
kind of like
君に
make fun of them,
我が
that I'm
つ
just
折りに
kind
な
of
っ
like
た
bashing
私
on
は
the
勝
series.
手に教え
I'm
よ
still on board with all this. I'm just
う
saying that
君は
it
ね
could have been like
二人の死を
implemented
悲しんでいな
a
い
little
の
bit
さ
better.
驚きは
But
義憤
I
もあ
don't
る
dislike
だけど
that
悲しみ
Sir
もある
Oswald betrayed
取り
them.
返し
I
がつ
don't
くものと
dislike
君
that
は
he
思ってい
betrayed
る
Rem
んじゃない
because
か
I said from the beginning that he groomed Rem.
気づ
So this
その説明
adds
に
up
は
to what I
こ
felt
れを
from
見
the
せる
moment
前
I
に
saw
手っ
them
取り早く
essentially in bed together.
復員書で
Yeah,
はな
so
いよ
I'm fine with all this.
あんな
I'm
出
just
来
saying,
品ではなくたった2冊の本物だ
can we just
お前
agree
の
that
本に書いたの
sometimes
か
the
どう
author
やら
gets
本の
into
内容
his
ともう一人
otaku
の
edge
所有者の
lord
説
mode
明
out of
もいらない
nowhere?
ようだね
Man, we are just going everywhere this episode. What the heck? This feels like
やっぱりスバル
this feels like a super long arc condensed into a one episode. Like I feel like this could have been paced a little bit better this episode. I think maybe they might have dragged on a little bit too long in the previous episodes and now they're trying to fit all this in cuz something big is going to happen next episode. But this episode just though very interesting and entertaining
スバル私の膝まで
is directed very poorly. If I'm being totally honest,
スバル眠たいの
which might not be the fault of the director. It might be the studio telling like, yeah, we kind of have to fit all of this content into one episode. Good luck.
無理しないでねだってスバルっていつも誰かのために無茶してちょっと複雑なのスバルの無理は私のためだけにしてほしいなのに誰かの
But
ことを見ないふりする
so
スバルなんて嫌だ
Amelia is evil, right?
私
Or at least she has some kind of evil inside of her. I think that's we can establish that now, right? A taste of death. All right, and that was a crazy crazy episode. A lot of content, a lot of different tones, a lot of things that a lot of information, a lot of confusion, especially when it comes to Beatrice. So in the intro, I said I would be paying a lot of attention to everything that Beatrice does, and I did. And this episode only made last ep. This episode proved my point in when I said that when we saw Beatrice buckle down and let Subaru die while she's whimpering and all that kind of stuff, that seemed like a failure in writing. That seemed like a betrayal of her character. That did not seem anything like we had seen before. And sure enough, this episode, without actually like coming out and stating it, essentially proved that yes, they fucked up. Whether it's the author or whether it's the director, somebody fucked up in that episode by making Beatrice fall to the ground and let Elsa kill Subaru. Why? Because in this episode, so many times, Beatrice told Subaru, I think you're the chosen one. I think you're, if not the chosen one, the closest thing I'll ever have to finding the chosen one. I've felt this way for some time now. You're the only one who can kill me. I really want nothing more than for you to kill me. That's all I want. I want that so badly. I want that more than anything in the world. You kill me. Which, then why did you let him die to Elsa the last time we saw you? Can someone explain that to me in the comments? Because I am just like, dude, so I was right. So then I was right. So then that was a shitty fucking scene. That was a failure in writing, whether it's from like whether it's from the author, from the source material, or the director of the studio, or whoever came up with the script writers for that scene. That scene should not have happened. It probably shouldn't have happened at all, but at the very least, it should not have happened the way that it did. It should not have happened the way that it did, because this scene, this episode kind of made it seem like, hey, let's not even think about that. Huh? It's oh man, dude. I knew it. I knew it. I was just like, I freaking knew it. I was just like, dude, this does not seem like the Beatrice that we know. Like, yes, I get that she's sad. We know that she's sad. We know that she's hiding some kind of darkness inside of her, some like sadness inside of her. But for it to come out like that, no. And sure enough, yeah, this episode kind of, in my opinion, proved my point. That scene should not have happened that way. That was just bad. Um, Now on to more issues with Beatrice's plot. She said Subaru's the only one who can kill her. He's a chosen one. He's the one who can break the contract and all that kind of stuff. She said spirits can't kill themselves, which sort of reinforced the notion that only the chosen one can kill her. But Elsa just came with a kitchen knife and easily, you're free. Or am I missing something? Is that some kind of like MacGuffin blade? Like, is that what that is? I hope not, because that would just be like a complete another failure in the writing, where like it's it's supposedly written in this gospel, and we know that these gospels are sort of like not so much conduits, but they're sort of like these gospels are supposed to, for lack of a better word, construct the happenings, or like they're like the premonitions, or they have heavy influence on this world. And it's almost like prophetic influence on this world, where everything's going to happen exactly how these gospels, or everything written in these gospels, will have vast consequences on stuff moving forward. And so she made it seem like, because it's that if Elsa somehow has like like a blade that can kill the things, but these spirits have been around for so long, and they're not aware of things that can kill them like that. Like, to the point where like Beatrice thinks that the only way that she can die is through Subaru. That would just be like, that's the definition of a MacGuffin, man. That's just like, it's a plot hole. It's like, oh man, dude, what is this? What's going on with Beatrice's plot line? I really hope. I don't even know what I hope anymore. Because like, I don't like the idea of Elsa just suddenly coming out with a MacGuffin blade to progress the plot. At the same time, I don't like the idea of Beatrice waiting all this time for the chosen one to kill her, only for like Elsa to kill her, unless Elsa's the chosen one. Hmm. Okay. You know what? I think that's best case scenario. Because I was gonna say, I don't know what I want, but I think that would be the best case scenario if Elsa was this chosen one, or that person which was written in the gospel. Which would be, because Beatrice is under the impression, because there's no further pages written in her gospel, that once her contract ends, that's it for her life. Subaru is arguing that he can help her write more pages, essentially. So it could be one of those things where Subaru's trying to rewrite the future, so to speak, which would be cool. I don't have an issue with that. Um, so Beatrice, if she dies according to the gospel to that person, that will be the end of her life because we just saw it be the end of her life. So no more pages there. But maybe Subaru can just like break the contract somehow, and then she can write more pages and get her wish and all that kind of stuff. Because I really don't feel like Beatrice wants to die. I feel like she just thinks that's the only way she can get out of her contract. I really feel Beatrice just wants to live a normal life, um, without death, without all these kind of things all around her. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, actually, I think that's best case scenario. I think best case scenario is if Elsa is that person that they were referencing in the gospel. As far as what happened afterwards, like when Beatrice teleported Subaru, or maybe didn't teleport Subaru, maybe caused a respawn, or I don't even know, dude. Like, cause he woke up in the temple next to next to evil Amelia, and then walked out. And at the end of the episode, he went back to the temple, and Amelia was still there in the same mood. And I'm just like, wait, what? Wouldn't Amelia have left? Wouldn't she have gotten out to become that shadow figure or something like that? Um, Roswell proved that any man that grooms can't be trusted. It's yeah. I mean, he kind of pointlessly stabbed um Rem, unless he knew that the rabbits were coming, and he knew Rem would prefer to die to him than to the rabbits, which again is very toxic grooming mentality. Um, so it's not like I'm saying that makes Roswald a better person, but I'm just trying to figure out why he killed Rem when he didn't have to. Especially if like he wants to use her as much as possible. But yeah, Amelia. I mean, she kind of said. I kind of think she had like some bits of dialogue where she made it seem like she is using magic to make Subaru obsessed with her. That's that's what I interpreted from that dialogue. And that would kind of, in my opinion, recontextualize. Again, recontextualize just does not save the fact that like in season 1 she was a bland character. It just means that the author like figured out like, oh fuck, I messed up. I gotta soft. I gotta fix these plot holes real quick. And this is a pretty cool way of doing it. I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty cool way of covering up some of his mistakes. But yeah, because like throughout season 1, throughout pretty much all of ReZero, I have maintained that Emilia is no character at all. She is the worst character. She has no personality. She has no conviction. She has nothing. Um, and Subaru just kind of like blindly falls in love with her, and she just kind of blindly falls in love with Subaru, and it's just like so uninteresting. But this would kind of add more to it, like a super tragic twist where like Subaru only loves her because she's forcing him to with magic, and that's why like he fell in love as soon as he saw her, right? Which would be cool because that's kind of like it would be such an interesting twist on the love at first sight that isekais do with first girls. So that's why I'm saying like this change would recontextualize it, which in no way makes up for like her bland character in season 1. But I would be on board with this because it would be a neat way of playing on that trope of first girl, love at first sight stuff. So yeah, I would be cool with that. I would be very excited about that. I hope that's what it's doing. Um, and if that is what it's doing, then we can establish for a fact that Emilia, whether she's fully evil or has some evil inside of her, maybe she has like a Rosario vampire thing going on where she has like an inner Mocha, outer Mocha. She has like an inner evil, and then she has like her good side, and it's like a duality, like sort of just like fighting against each other, all that kind of stuff. That'd be cool. But yeah, I don't know. this episode was all over the place. I feel like it was super rushed. I feel like the episodes before this could have been paced so much better so that this episode didn't feel like hella rushed, or maybe this is exactly how the author wanted it. Maybe like because I said throughout the episode, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to upload that part. I never know what parts YouTube is gonna make me take out of these videos. But I said that the scene where Roswell suddenly like stabs and all this like dark emo like edgelord shit starts happening, that kind of seems like out of nowhere. It kind of seems rushed. It kind of not like, I mean like tonally out of nowhere. Where like I'm not saying we never saw it coming. I'm not saying there was no hints of it coming. I'm just saying like it just kind of like threw it on our plate. And it just kept getting darker and darker and darker, and it just kind of just like for the sake of it, to the point where, like, to me, in my opinion, um, this kind of seems like one of those scenes that the author probably had in mind before he actually started outlining the series. I was saying that like he probably had the ending in mind, and then he had the beginning in mind, and then he had bits of like cool scenes that he thought of, and then like he's just kind of just like, I wonder how I'm gonna get to this. I wonder how I'm gonna get to this and all that kind of stuff. So that's why like everything that happened here just kind of hit hella suddenly, to the point where like I'm pretty sure this is one of those chapters that the author had in mind. Like even before he actually started writing the series, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be such a cool twist, or wouldn't this be such a cool scene? Um, which that's kind of how you make a story, right? Like you have these ideas, these bits and pieces, and you just kind of like try to like piece them together. I just felt like this could have been done a little bit better.